So, for the first time in a long time, Fee Collier actually kind of cooked
Angel Reese's confidence packed a suitcase somewhere in the midst of the chaos. Was it nerves, or did the WNBA simply say, "Welcome, rookie, now sit down"? The Lynx handed her a chilly L in the first preseason game, complete, with frostbite shots and clanked defense. In any case, it's not the beginning she had in mind, but it's the one we can't stop watching. Let's analyze what went wrong. I love seeing her emphasize the shots she missed, be the worst ever encountered. After 2 preseason games that resembled a clumsy high school tryout more than the start of a WNBA rookie campaign, it's officially panic time in Chicago, at least for the Angel Reese is the future fan group. While Caitlin Clark is out here casually breaking ankles and draining logo threes like it's a warm-up, Angel Reese might want to see if her crown is still covered by warranty because she's trying to find the rim without getting a foul call or losing a rebound to Camila Cardoso. Spoiler alert, she's losing both.
Before a game or after a game or during practice for real, you rarely ever hear from Angel Reese. And my question is why? Why don't you like to talk basketball, Angel? Is it because you miss...
Angel, let's be completely honest. The simplest way to characterize Reese's preseason performance would be generously underwhelming. She only managed 10 points against the Lynx, shooting 2 for 8 from the field. That's 2 baskets in 25 minutes, or 1 every 12.5 minutes. Fans were promised 3 rebounds, so if the current tempo on the floor keeps up, someone should start giving out juice boxes to encourage participation. It's if you're a shooting guard, but it's unpleasant when you're the paint bully and your newly arrived buddy outboards you.
Angel Reese missing out on these press conferences all the time. What is this really about? Here's a girl, right, who loves to be in everybody's face, loves to be on front center, right? Always on TikTok, always on Instagram, always on YouTube with her podcast, but never during press conferences before a game or after a game or during practice for real. You rarely ever hear from Angel Reese. And my question is why? Why don't you like to talk basketball, Angel? Is it because you miss so many layups, you're so bad?
In contrast, Caitlin Clark's preseason debut was different. She came out of it as though it were the finals, roaming the court like she pays rent and making 3-pointers and dropping dimes. The Indiana Fever, her team, scored 108 points and Clark was directing the attack like an experienced veteran, and Reese was still figuring out how to balance her roles as an eager cheerleader and an off-ball decoy in a game that ended before she could receive a 4th foul.
And correct me if I'm wrong here. I thought Angel Reese was responsible for elevating the WNBA dump. I thought Angel Reese was responsible for taking the dump and turning it into an unmonetizable turd. Now, to her credit, it is a nicely polished turd. It almost looks appealing. Almost. Of course, it's still not appealing enough to generate profit, but I guess the WNBA is taking baby steps. I mean, what's one more year of multi-million-dollar losses? I thought Angel Reese was the star of stars, the icon of icons. That's what the mainstream media keeps telling me. Headline at Forbes from last month. How Angel Reese and A'ja Wilson are leading the WNBA's growth.
Here's the real kicker, though. The other rookie on the sky, Camila Cardoso, who doesn't appear on podcast circuits or in Reebok advertisements, is quietly assuming that power forward role like a 13-point natural. 9 rebounds along with a ton of "I'll take that board" energy. Angel, please. She's collecting the rebounds that used to be Reese's bread and butter, but now Cardoso is buying the groceries, cooking, and still getting the leftovers, while Ree is stuck with the check.
Angel Reese is smooth 6'3", and jump like that, grab him, rim, and dunk him. Let's be honest, that's bounce for a girl. That's bounce. Now, some of y'all are probably wondering why I said she could dunk. I mean, obviously, Shorty can't dunk now. We see the game, she barely get off the ground, she get like an inch off the ground. Anyway, the reason for that is she had a big injury in her leg a long time ago, Now she has a medal roster.
Let's add this up. Caitlin is dominating the scoreboards and making opponents reevaluate their life decisions as she enters the WNBA regular season like she has for years. As if the preseason wasn't already a depressing experience for Ree, Angel, on the other hand, is stuck trying to figure out how to shoot 25% from the field without the fans moaning every time she touches the ball. The league was so bold as to set the start of the Sky season versus wait for it. Caitlin Clark's Fever in Indiana. Yes, the showdown is on Saturday. Caitlin versus Angel was supposed to be the rivalry of the decade, but so far it's looking more like a one-woman show, with Caitlin doing everything but selling popcorn during timeouts. We've all been waiting for this heavyweight match, but one side has been training with a punching bag, and the other has just been punching air. When Cardoso grabs another rebound that she believes to be hers by divine right, she looks very perplexed and gives us accidental humor by allowing her defender to stroll into the paint.
I wonder why you have the least amount of fans showing up in attendance at your games. That all has something to do with it. You're not relatable. You're not likable. People only hear from you when you showing half off, your body, or you're showing off what you're wearing, right? Trying to make a fashion statement. You're showing off your new weave. It's so unbelievable. You're showing off your new lashes, right? But you don't talk basketball now.
Cardoso is using those carefully. Chosen layups that Reese used to eat in college as buffet samples, but this isn't LSU anymore, and the WNBA doesn't give out participation trophies. It's not just. It's starting to look personal. Reese must be feeling it. Imagine getting hyped up as the face of the next generation, only to have your own teammate show you what paint dominance really looks like. Cardoso's efficiency and aggressive posture are screaming that even if you may have the following, I have the basics, and you can bet that Reese is aware of it. She's watching Caitlin Clark become the most talked-about player in the league overnight, and she's watching Cardoso become the Sky inside anchor. She's stuck in the middle, too visible to hide behind the bench, too ineffective to score, and too dominant to be a rebounder, but it's only preseason, right? Well, the real games are about to start, and Angel's stat line is beginning to resemble an awkward footnote rather than a rookie resume.
To Forbes, Angel Reese is arguably the biggest star in the WNBA because she has more social media followers than everyone else. But like I say all the time, popularity on social media, that does not equate to the mainstream.
We haven't even discussed what transpires when Ree is benched after. Receiving 2 fast fouls in the first 5 minutes, and Caitlin begins to hammer the Sky defense with one-legged fadeaways. The elements of a reality check are all present in Saturday's game. Angel Reese is entering the game with a chip on her shoulder the size of a press conference, and it's not the positive kind of chip that says, I'm overcompensating because things aren't going the way I thought. Caitlin Clark is about to put on a clinic. The rivalry was based on Instagram posts and College Hype magazine covers, and it's almost poetic. However, in the professionals, pick-and-roll changes and court space are used to decide who wins. Shots Angel's shift has been more like someone stumbling over the bench while attempting to tie their shoes, whereas Caitlin's transition has been seamless, like a well-rehearsed piano concert. Remember, this isn't a case of rookie jitters. Ree has now participated in 2 complete games, which is sufficient to determine that perhaps defeating a 6-4 freshman in the NCAA isn't quite the same as going up against seasoned WNBA veterans who are adept at pointing out all of your weaknesses. If she believed she had breathing room before, Cardoso simply locked that door and threw away the key. Every minute Cardoso outperforms Ree is a minute. Because Ree isn't making money in the WNBA or the rotation, stories change quickly.
Folks, the Chicago Sky Game 1 of the preseason was underway last night. Angel Reese looked pretty good, but we're going to get into that momentarily. On the negative side, Angel Reese fans, LSU fans, all of you who tell us, oh my God, what a big superstar.
Reese needs a miracle on Saturday to show up and remind everyone why she was the biggest name in women's college basketball last year. But if her preseason is any indication, Caitlin Clark might not just be in the starting lineup. You have to wonder what the team is thinking right now. Sure, the marketing people are probably still posting glam shots of Rhea in sky blue, but the coaching staff are probably having some late-night meetings that sound a lot like, "This isn't the preseason anymore. The curtains are coming up, the lights are bright, and Angel Reese, she'd better hope she remembers her lines, or Caitlin's about to turn this into a one-woman show." She might completely humiliate her because the one thing Clark has that Reese doesn't currently have is consistency. Every night, Angel brings drama, some missed layups, and maybe a few rebounds. If Cardoso decides to be generous, she could completely outplay her.
Can we know how you felt about your play out there? You're 2 for 8. Can we know how you feel about your new role, supposedly being a point forward? Ain't no damn point forward. A point forward is a person that actually create shots for others, easy buckets for others. That's what a point guard. Caitlin Clark don't just pass the ball down to Leah Boston and she turn around and make a layup and get an assist. She don't just get those kind of assists where she really didn't have nothing to do with getting Camila Cardoso or one of her players an easy basket. She not getting nobody no easy baskets. It's all off the execution of the play. Whether somebody cut back door and she make a good pass. She can make good passes, but a point forward is somebody who actually orchestrates the offense.
And if you thought Angel Reese's script couldn't get any messier, wait until Saturday's opening tip because this isn't just a game. It's an audition for real on-court legitimacy, not for a shoe deal or Instagram clout. At the moment, Rhea is entering that audition with 2 flat notes, a broken microphone, and the stage presence of someone who has just realized that the spotlight burns when you haven't practiced. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is essentially the WNBA's main event before she has even played a real game, and she enters arenas like she owns the lease, and for good reason. Extremely high basketball IQ. She executes precise guided missiles. Back to Rhea, whose defensive stance has so far been less locked in and more where am I supposed to be again, her shot selection is calculated chaos that somehow always works. Even during the preseason, she was lighting up defenders like she was trying out for the Harlem Globetrotters with a mastery of applied humiliation. And the best part is that she was smiling like someone who knew she had just made your favorite player look like a traffic cone.
So I think it's time to finally, end the argument. End the argument that there is any sort of other needle mover that is even remotely close to Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. And again, the reason why we've got Hailey Van Lith up is because it was Hailey Van Lith's return as well as Angel Reese's return. Angel was not the only person. They had 2 players returning. However, right now in Carver, there are no tickets left for under
8. Let's discuss body language. Reese's in-game demeanor has changed from assured queen to perplexed. While Cardoso is out there snatching rebounds like it's her birthright and making putbacks look like layup drills, Mal Walker is giving teammates the side-eye in record time. She's also looking exhausted halfway through the second quarter, and generally acting like someone who was forced into a pickup game against their will. It's bad when fans are already speculating about rotational shakeups, and the WNBA season hasn't even begun. The media is circling like sharks at an all-you-can-eat buffet. When the game clock starts, it doesn't matter how many followers you have, how many NIL deals you signed, or how many Bayou Barbie headlines you created in college. Angel Reese is starting to learn the hard way that the WNBA isn't there to validate your brand. Rather, it's here to expose whether you can actually hoop with the big dogs. The first missed free throw on Saturday will be breaking Angel Reese, and the coach is thinking of starting the mascot instead.
I've tried to tell you guys, you heard me say it on this channel. A lot of Angel Reese fans are not basketball fans, and they are proving it. They proved it last night without a shadow of a doubt. That was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen. You might be like, well, Rhodes, what was so embarrassing?
To be fair, nobody anticipated that she would be a 20-point-per-night superstar on the first day of the season, but nobody anticipated that she would be outperformed by her own teammate, Cardoso, who has quietly emerged as the team's most dependable front-court player. Reese needs a redemption story quickly because Caitlin Clark doesn't just show up to play. She shows up to make statements, and there's no bigger statement than making fun of your main rival on national television in your first regular season game if Clark scores 25 points. And Ree has another shooting night where he is 2 for 8, gets into foul trouble, and shrugs at the referees. Before the game concludes, the highlight reel will be ready, complete with dramatic violin music and a side-by-side comparison graphic that will make Reese wish she had stayed in college. The conversation won't be kind, and social media might just be combust. Additionally, the spectators are intently observing this matchup, which is not just between Caitlin and Angel, but also between hype and substance. One player is already demonstrating that she has the skills to handle the spotlight, while the other is still trying to figure out how to avoid fouling out by halftime.
People keep telling us there are other people in the WNBA who have made it matter. People keep telling us there are other players who are so very, very loved. There are other players who are so very, very marketable and marketed and watched and all that great.
Don't forget, Angel Reese is accustomed to pressure. She has participated in championship games, faced criticism, and undoubtedly been the center of attention. However, this isn't about the haters. Rather, it's about demonstrating that she belongs, and that her play, demeanor, and presence can truly result in victories at the professional level. If not, she runs the risk of becoming the cautionary tale while this is when things get really heated, because Caitlin becomes the league's face. If Ree loses to Clark, her entire rookie campaign might become a survival mission, and the rumors will become heated arguments. The discussions turn into heated opinions over trade rumors. Yes, it's early, but the WNBA is cutthroat and tight, and rookies don't get many opportunities, especially when your teammate is taking your position right in front of you.
Can't even show up and buy ticket fingers. Angel Reese, going home to her alma mater, LSU, plays against the Brazilian national team in front of 6,370.
Reese requires she needs a direct reintroduction that says, "I'm not just a TikTok highlight from 2023. I'm here to dominate," because if she doesn't, Caitlin Clark will show up, drop a casual 30, and leave the arena with Reese's narrative gift. Saturday was supposed to be her statement game, but it wasn't a good outing. Wrapped and prepared for the archives, but there is still time for a comeback, for Angel to become irate and hostile, and for Angel to become locked in. However, time is running out, and if Caitlin Clark is not careful, she will not only steal the show, but also rewrite the script, leaving Angel Reese to read lines from the bench.